Okay.
I think we're on, Ivan.
Yep, we are on. Good morning, everyone. Ivan Temelkov here, and this is the first episode of the Jigs and Puzzles Facebook Live show. And today I'm joined by my good friend Kendra. Good morning. How are you, Kendra?
I'm so wonderful. Thank you for having me, Ivan.
You are most welcome. You are most welcome. Before we dive into the show, let me share with everyone that's tuning in what the show is about and why I'm so excited to have Kendra on today to kick things off with this first episode. The show is a lifestyle show. It's about life, family, and business. How do we make sense of all of it? How do we piece the puzzles together? And today I am so excited to have my friend Kendra join me here on the show. So with that being said, I know, Kendra, you actually had sent me your bio, but I don't, the more I thought about it, I don't want to steal your thunder. So let's start off with, tell people your story. Tell us who you are, how did you get started to what you're doing today?
Absolutely. Well, I live in sunny San Diego, but today it's not so sunny. It's a little overcast today. And I am a mom to a 3.5-year-old, and I am in the health and wellness business. I am also an esthetician, which I've been an esthetician for over 10 years. So I've had the opportunity to really be able to help people look and feel amazing on the outside. And recently, I started about 1.5 years ago, I started a nutritional cleansing program. And that was a really big game changer for me, not only just in my personal health and my life just personally, but it really extended to so many different areas of my life. And I was really interested in health and wellness before nutritional cleansing. I had changed my lifestyle and really started researching our food and what's in it. I was at a point in my life where I didn't feel very well. I was overweight and for myself and really not comfortable in my own skin. And I had some health challenges going on, and it was just time to really make a change in my life. And so I started researching our food and, like I said, what was in it, what's considered safe. And I was really just blown away about all the information that I was learning. And so I actually wrote an ebook on clean eating. And that's kind of where my passion for helping other people get healthy started. And fast forward a few years after having my son, I was having a really hard time losing weight after having him. And I ate clean. I worked out 4 to 5 times a week, and I could not get that weight off. And I was really like, I didn't know what to do. I went to my naturopath because I was sure something was wrong with my hormones or my thyroid. He got my blood work back and said, no, everything looks great. You're totally fine. And I was working out with a trainer at that time. He was tracking my food, and he's like, I really don't know what to tell you. And that is not something that you want to hear from your personal trainer. And
Right.
so I was kind of at a loss for words of what to do. And my girlfriend had introduced me to nutritional cleansing. And that was such a big game changer for me. I was super skeptical in the beginning because, again, I had really researched a lot about food and eating whole foods. And so that was really where I was, because I wanted to make sure what I was doing was coming from a place of health. And she had posted some amazing transformations on Facebook. And at that time, when I looked at it, I was like, anytime I had seen such a transformation where people were just like incredibly, changing their physical bodies, I thought they must be doing something that didn't fit my idea of health, like whether that be extreme dieting or diet pills or something like that. And so I did a ton of research on nutritional cleansing, and it really basically came down to fueling the body with whole food super nutrition, and then just being able to cleanse out all the toxins that we come in contact with on a daily basis, and just being able to incorporate nutritional fasting. And that is something that I didn't have in my lifestyle. It was an aspect that I was missing. And that is literally what made all the difference. And so I started to feel better. I started to release the weight that I was holding on to. I have more energy now than I had before I had my son. And that was huge being a mom, I think I shared the other day that I was legitimately taking naps in my car on my lunch break because I was so tired in the afternoon. And, I thought, okay, this is normal. I'm a mom, I work, I'm busy. And then I realized, no,
Nope.
that's not normal. There's a
Nope.
way better way to do life. And so that, yeah, the energy is really pretty amazing, because that was something that I didn't
Sure.
expect. You kind of go in expecting the physical outside results, but not really realizing like, oh my gosh, my body really can feel amazing from the inside out. So that's how I
Yeah.
got started in nutritional cleansing. And people started to notice a difference, and that's when I started sharing it with people. When I saw it really came from an aspect of health, true health, and how it was impacting people's lives. That's what really got me excited, because
Yeah.
people come in and want to lose weight, or but it's never about the weight. It's always about what the weight does, and how it impacts people's lives. So I really I really get fired up about just seeing people live their best life, and being able to have that bleed into so many different areas of their life.
Right, right. Well, you mentioned several things, and I was waiting for you to finish your thought because I can abruptly interject because you mentioned so many good points. So you talked about the 2 o'clock dreadful feeling, which, truth be told, if you go out on Google and do some searches, I mean, it's a real thing. It's a real problem. But a lot of it, I think, has attribution to a lack of energy because people aren't as proactive. They're not as active. They're not as as aggressive as they could be from a lifestyle standpoint. The other thing that you were talking about is, as a mom, and you were talking about how, is this normal? Is this, am I to have this loss of energy on the afternoons? Well, as an Eastern European, someone who was raised on 5-course meals, when me and you were initially chatting, I explained to you that, Kendra, I think this is a lot about mindset, right? And I think people really need to recognize that the mind and the body are two things that you really, really need to cherish, indefinitely, unconditionally. And I think a lot of people, I think because of the world that we live in, we just get so wrapped up with everything that's happening around us, like family, kids, career, and whatnot. And we tend to forget that the mind and body are really the two most important things, right? That we need to focus on. You were talking about, the training exercise that you had done. And I think me and you connected initially. We were talking about, some of the experiences I had went through. For instance, a couple of years ago, I did kind of like what you did. I did a personal training exercise. I had a personal trainer. 3 days a week, I would get up at 5:30 in the morning to go in at 6 o'clock to do intense 30-minute sessions. And then I went through this nutritional challenge, right, which was intended to help me eat healthier. Now, the problem with that is that it was not sustainable. And that's usually a lot of the issues with a lot of the programs, not just nutrition, but fitness programs. And, we were talking about fitness and nutrition and health and wellness, but I think what's most important to really emphasize is that it's a change of mindset. It's not just to get up and go to the gym or eat healthier. It's a change of mindset to change your life, right? So let's talk a little bit about, the mindset aspect. And so did you just wake up one morning and say, you know what, I hate the way I feel. I hate the way my lifestyle is. I need to make a change. Or, what pushed you towards changing your lifestyle to be more healthier, more invigorating, more energetic? What are some things that you did?
It was definitely a gradual change, but I agree with you. It's a lot about mindset, and it took a long time for me to shift that mindset. I've become a lot more aware in the past few years about how the mindset and our thoughts really, are so important. They're so interconnected with our body. Obviously, you always hear about the mind-body connection, and it's so true. And it took me a while to um, align my thoughts with where I wanted to go in my life, especially even with my nutrition as well. And so I really had to look at some of those things that, that were holding me back from reaching my goals. And, we come in contact with these thoughts that we have on a daily basis, like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym, or I don't feel like it, or, I'm tired today, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. And sometimes we're not really consciously aware of those thoughts, but those thoughts really affect our day and affect how we do things. And so just becoming aware of these negative thoughts, or the thoughts that are maybe not in alignment with our goals, really can help to reframe where you're going and help to get on a track, on the right track, because it can derail us if we're not paying attention to it. And it takes time, you know, to change those mindsets. Because like you said, growing up, you grew up on a 5-course meal. What was it, 5 times a day?
Yeah, it was one of those things that, you know, growing up in Eastern Europe is just that I think that the nutrition and the way that I was taught, it was, you know, to always eat immense amounts of food, like
Mm-hmm.
to the point to where, like, I think there was this traditional mentality that there was a need to digest an immense amount of food. And even now around the holidays, oh my God, you should see what the holidays look at my parents' house when everybody gets together. Oh my God, there's like 10 different types of meat and, like, you know, all kinds of stuff that's like jam-packed with calories. And the one thing that I've come to realize that not only growing up, but even now being older, it's like, oh my God, I just go into a food coma because I digest an immense amount of food. You know, I mean, I could digest close to 1,500 calories just over a Christmas dinner. And the more I realized it, I mean, that's how I was raised. I was raised on a certain type of nutrition. And I think that's why for the longest period of time, I've struggled with changing my mindset because I was always taught that way. I was always taught that, okay, this is what you can eat, and changing that habit was difficult, and it's still very difficult to do. So, you know, some of the things that you shared is this, you know, I want to know more about, okay, so if one is struggling with a mindset, like, you know, subconsciously, you got to change your mindset. You want to feel better. You want to be more energetic. You want to be more invigorated. Not to mention is that you want to dominate in your business because health, wellness, mind, body, I mean, these are intricate things. I mean, guys like, you know, Steve Jobs and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Sir Richard Branson, I mean, these people are proactive. I mean, these are Oprah even. I mean, these people have, you know, a structured schedule between fitness and nutrition, but most importantly, it's mind and body, the way they take care of it. So what advice would you give to entrepreneurs, business owners, people that are struggling with the mindset? Like, what can they do to change that?
Oh, absolutely. And you're so right about that. I mean, a lot of people have, you know, really talk about how nutrition changes their business. Tony Robbins has a very strict nutrition program that he follows. I know Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about how he's completely changed his health and nutrition and how it's changing his business as well. And you're right, it bleeds into all areas of our life. If we feel great, if we have that energy, if we feel confident, then we're able to really, you know, take that and focus it onto our business. I mean, if you don't feel good, if you have low energy, you know, you're tired all the time, you don't want to do things, it reflects in our business, it reflects in what we do. And so if you are able to change from the inside out and really have that energy and have that mental clarity, you can focus on the work that you need to do. We were even talking about confidence the other day, and just having that confidence internally, you know, you are able to talk to people differently. You're able to really go out and meet people. So it just bleeds into all areas of life. And I really believe that it starts with nutrition, and changing, you know, you mentioned habits too. And so it's that starts with the mindset that then affects our habits. So I believe that really looking at our mindset and becoming aware of it will definitely impact our habits and the rest of our life.
You know, while you were talking about habits, one thing that I wanted to mention too is just that, so when I was younger, I was a smoker, and I quit smoking, let's see, 12 years ago now. That it has been since I quit. And the one thing that I had noticed with, you know, curbing bad habits is just that, for instance, curbing smoking was probably one of the hardest habits, you know, to curb. And I did it the hard way, like literally. I did it to where I tried to, I don't think it was such a heavy habit, and maybe that's why I was so fortunate enough to be able to ditch that habit, but there were repercussions as a result of that. For instance, when I stopped smoking, and as I was kind of working towards, you know, ditching the nicotine in the cigarettes, is that my appetite started increasing. Like literally, I would go into like this food binge, like, you know, I would want to snack multiple times a day. You know, I would want to drink stuff. I mean, it was a supplement for the times that I would want nicotine. And now looking back, I would have probably, you know, done a little differently, because also as a result, I think I gained almost 25 pounds. because
Mm-hmm.
what had happened is that as a result of curbing smoking, my appetite actually increased. So then it's supplemented for basically the fact that when I was smoking was counterbalancing the nutrition in the food that was intaking into my body. So that was probably, one of the hardest habits I think to kick. But I got to tell you this is just that I'm so lucky that I did that. But now when I think about it, is just that because for one, is just that it actually gave me a lot more energy. I didn't have to worry about a lot of the obvious things like cancer and whatnot. And when I was smoking, I couldn't go to the gym because I just didn't have the endurance, right, to get on the treadmill without starting to pant like 10 minutes into running on the treadmill. So you were talking about habits, and that's why I want to stop there for a second and talk about that. Is because let's look at what some other habits, what other common habits that of that people struggle with when it comes to health and wellness and mind and body and really changing their lifestyle. What are some habits maybe that you run into yourself?
Absolutely. It was all, and I'm human, right? So I come across these things, they come up, if I have a goal of working out a certain amount of times and then something comes up and I think about, oh, well, I'm busy and I have this to do. It's like, we have choices to make every day. And so really becoming aware of what those choices are and being able to, we could just dismiss it and not be conscious of the thoughts that we're having and just say, oh yeah, you're right, this is, but if you really look at what your goals are and see if your actions are really aligning with your goals and just kind of
Right.
refocusing that, because there's always excuses for probably literally everything from eating right to exercising to not putting off stuff that you have to accomplish in your business. So really it's just becoming aware of what those thoughts are and why we're making those decisions on a subconscious level, because a lot of the decisions that we make aren't really conscious. We just do it because, like you said, it's a habit. And so just becoming really aware of that, and sometimes, writing down our thoughts or just listening to your internal dialogue. Sometimes we have thoughts that we're not even aware of. And so just becoming aware of them can make you really look at where some of those unconscious thoughts and behaviors are coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned a couple of interesting things. So, like, one of the things that I'm getting into the habit of now is, and it's really not a habit, but I think being more subconscious about is like, okay, so this morning I had breakfast. I drank coffee, which I gotta have caffeine every morning. Otherwise, I'm completely dysfunctional, I think. But then I think about, okay, that toaster strudel thing that I ate, is that good for me? Or is that donut that I had good for me? And like, I think that's probably, the delineation, the clarity that you were talking about that a lot of people struggle with is like, and maybe that's probably also a challenge too, is it's just that, do you have to create limitations for yourself in order to change your mindset and change your health and wellness and, feel better about yourself? Or do you just have to do it in a much more moderate fashion or a lot more controllable to where if you do indulge, like I think one of the things I was telling you is this, as a guy, I can't go without not having a beer or a glass of wine or two or three for that matter, right? So like it really gets me thinking subconsciously about like, should I drink that glass of wine? And if I drink it, like, am I going to have to be on the treadmill or whatever, for like 30 minutes just to burn that off or whatever it is, right? So let's talk a little bit about that is how can you moderate the change? How can you create a transition, a smoother transition? What are some things that you can explore to really change your mindset and really get you thinking about what's good for you and what's not good for you?
Absolutely. And that's something that I help people do, is to make this transition. So it can be, somewhat overwhelming if you've never done it before. So I really try to minimize that overwhelm and help people with approved food shopping lists, schedules, like what to eat, when to eat it, so that it's really laid out for them. And there aren't very many like questions on should I add the toaster strudel in? But, it is, I think you said the word limitations, which caught me by surprise, because I don't like to look at things as you're being limited, right? Because if you feel like you're being limited, then this isn't going to work for you. It's a lifestyle. And obviously, you know, I help people get on a 30-day cleanse and fat burning system. And the 30-day is a little bit more strict, because you're really trying to put your body into an alkaline level and really start to give yourself a foundation and a basis for health and reach those goals. Because a lot of people come in with really specific goals. Like, I want to lose, you know, 10, 15, 20, you know, and on up. I mean, and we figure out a plan to help them reach those goals. And so I don't like to look at it as limitations, because what really is that toaster strudel or that glass of wine or beer doing? Is it keeping you from your goals? And so if you look at it like, oh yeah, no, this, whatever your other choice is, a shake or an apple or whatever, you know, then that's like, oh, this is giving me health and vitality and energy, and it's really opening my world up to so many possibilities and what I really want, versus feeling restricted. And obviously once we hit your goals, once we, you know, get you in a place where you feel like you're on maintenance, then it's a little bit, it's not as strict, and it's more of a lifestyle, and we work those things in, and it's being conscious of it. You know, it's not eating that or drinking that every single day, but if you have a family dinner or you're going out to dinner, yeah, enjoy your glass of wine. And then we make it fit into your lifestyle, so that you don't feel like you never can have a glass of wine, or you can never have anything that you enjoy again, or you can't go out to dinner with your family. And so we find ways to make it work into your lifestyle, because I mean, we do this all the time, right? There's always something going on. There's always trips or vacations or anniversaries or birthdays or whatever. And so it's like, okay, how are you going to make this fit into your lifestyle, so that you don't say like, oh, screw it, I'm not going to do this, you know, because it can, we don't want you to say that. We want this to be a long-term solution for you to reach your goals and that continue to enjoy life, but really reach your goals and live a healthy life. And it's all about, you know, balance and finding that right balance for you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm glad that you expanded upon the word limitations, because the reason I mentioned that is I think in a traditional mindset, and this is something a lot of people probably struggle with, is that they look at it as a limitation, right? This is when you have to shift from your pre-existing lifestyle to a new lifestyle. And what they don't understand is just that shift is a positive move, you know, and that's the change, because I think a lot of people, including myself, you know, we seek instant gratification, like, okay, point A to point B, how do we get from point A to point B the quickest, right? And with health and wellness and changing your mindset, which really reciprocates to the way you do business, the way you live your life, the way you take care of your family, also the way you address your family, also is that it's a transition. It's not, you know, it's a process, right? And processes take time. And I think that's probably one of the most integral things that a lot of people not only look forward to, but also a lot of people are, you know, anticipating. They get very anxious about it, and they want that instant gratification to where, okay, if I'm going to lose 20 pounds, I want that to happen right now, right? As opposed to, no, this is going to take some time, you know, and you need to factor that in, because if you want instant gratification, then I think that's where, you know, cosmetic surgery and things like that is really where people are splurging, as opposed to going through a smoother transition to where they teach themselves how to live happier, how to live, you know, healthier, how to have a better lifestyle also. And how, you know, as a father, there's something that I think about, you know, having a 22-month-old son and having a baby girl that's going to be arriving middle of this year is like, okay, I need to set a good example for my kids, you know. I mean, from the stuff that they intake now to, you know, when they start getting older, because that's exactly what happened to me. You know, as I was growing up, my parents taught me to eat food in a certain way, to live a certain lifestyle. And that's why it was so challenging for me, I think, is instead to morph and create that change. And I definitely think that it's not impossible, but it's extremely difficult to do. So with that being said, you know, we talked about health and wellness and mindset. You know, do you have any recommendations, any programs, anything that you want to share with the viewers, you know, in terms of, you know, if they want to change their lifestyle, what could they do?
Absolutely. So we have a massive group cleanse going on right now, which is super exciting because people all over the country and even world are just really reaching their goals. And it's so exciting. So I help people set them up on a 30-day nutritional cleanse and fat burning system. And it's so exciting because it really helps them reach their goals. And we address that and customize it specifically to what their goals and needs are. And so I'm offering to anybody that would love to open the conversation up and just talk more about their health goals, just a free 15-minute phone conversation, coaching call to really find out what their goals are and see if there's any way that I can help support them, because I know that it's the new year and everybody's looking, it's the time that we reflect
Right.
on things. And so it's exciting to be involved in that momentum and that energy of people really reaching their goals. So I wanted to extend that to anybody that's watching today, to see how I can help support them in reaching their goals as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Kendra, this was a really, really exciting conversation. I was very ecstatic originally, when we talked and kind of some of the things that we shared to have you on, because I think this is coming from why this is so important. It's coming from someone that has been through the process. You're an advocate. You are a testament of going through this process, like you mentioned earlier on, is struggling with the weight, struggling with the energy, struggling with the lifestyle. And, one day you just realize that, what, enough is enough. I got to change, and this is for the betterment of my longevity, right? It's because, and there's a lot of articles even out there and a lot of fitness experts even talk about this, that, a healthier lifestyle attributes to your longer lifespan, right? You get to live longer also. I think I was watching some YouTube videos not too long ago of like 7-year-old people that are like doing stuff that I can't even do at 37. I'm like sitting here, I'm like, dude, you're making me look bad. Like, you're 70-something years old and like, you're running on a treadmill and, you're doing all these, physical exercise. You have a better lifestyle. You don't even look like you're 70 for that matter. So, that's really, really important. I think a lot of people want that, but they're unwilling to do the work that it takes to get there. So with that being said, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way to reach you?
Absolutely. So you can connect with me on Facebook is the best way. If you just want to send me a private message, a friend request, I would love to connect that way. And then we can set something up to chat about your health goals.
Awesome. Well, Kendra, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure chatting with you this morning. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. And I look forward to staying connected in the stratosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. It was such a pleasure. I love chatting mindset and health and everything connected with that. And it was so exciting being on your first ever call. So I appreciate you having me as a
Absolutely.
guest. And I look forward to staying connected with you as well.
Awesome, Kendra. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today to episode 1 of Jigs and Puzzles with the phenomenal Kendra Holdgraf. Kendra, thank you so much for your time. I truly, truly appreciate it. And have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next episode coming up on Wednesday at the same time, same place, right here on Facebook. Take care. Bye-bye.